Hello, and welcome to the second episode of AWLegacy as we take a look at what was billed as the first season of Actwres Girls. In our first episode, we covered both the prologue and opening AWG shows, which featured the debuts of Saori Ano, Natsumi Maki, who is now known as Natsupoi, Nao Kakuda, Tai Honma, among many others. This episode will cover Act 2 and 3, and if you missed the first episode, you can check it out in the link below. I also didn't introduce Amy Nishina in a way that I felt satisfied with in that episode. She's a big part of these shows, so let me truly introduce you to Amy Nishina. Amy Nishina is an actress and a dancer, obviously, but her qualifications are unique among the Actwres girls, and those qualifications, according to her blog, are a regular car license, specifically knowing how to drive a manual transmission, kendo, second class, which is represented in her entrances going forward. She's a Type 2 electrical engineer, a certified electrical worker, 4th class amateur radio operator, high altitude work vehicle operation certificate holder. She is indeed forklift certified. She had a certification in slinging and rigging. She also is a high and extra high voltage electrical operator as well as a low voltage electrical operator. She also is a foreman and safety and health manager. She also loves assembling and disassembling machinery. Her favorite thing she ever disassembled was an ATM, and her favorite tool is a ratchet or socket wrench, according to her blog. Hell yeah. And now, we start episode 2. Act 2's intro follows much of the same format as Act 1, with Black Shine and Referee Yoshino, the opening dance with Mizuki Ishizuka and Shizuka Sakano, followed with a rundown of the card, with wrestlers coming out to the ring as the matches are announced. Up first is a debuting Rika Miyama. She's another in AWG's long line of wrestlers with ninja cred, and her nickname here is the Crimson Kunoichi. Along with her traditional appearance, she also had a history of playing many kunoichi roles in film and TV and stage. She's up against Yuna Manase, who again has the trio of youth dancers as part of her introduction. And Miyama is all business here. She's got a serious presentation that continues through much of her time with the promotion. She got a lot of kicks, submissions, and overall looks pretty competent for someone who is having their first match. There's a typical Actwres Joshi kick exchange we see with people like Mari against rookies. You see Manase begging Miyama to step up. Miyama does and surprises Manase with some submissions and even some creative offense. Eventually Manase picks up the win, but it wasn't easy. Manase had Miyama beat with the axe kick, but pulled her off the mat at 2 to make an example of her and force her to tap out. Pretty great stuff. Up next is the debut of voice actress, singer, and most importantly, space clown, Fumi Shigawa, on her birthday. Shigawa comes out to the theme song for the Sanrio anime Onegai My Melody. Shigawa does a cartwheel and then immediately falls in the gap between the ramp and the ring. She then throws some candy into the audience and does a silly dance. Her opponent is Gaboko, who comes to the ring dressed in a robe wielding a sword, but also walking a toy dog. Gaboko is then introduced as Saigo Gabriel Gaboko, a nod to Saigo Takamori, one of the most influential samurai in Japanese history. There is a famous statue of Saigo Takamori in Ueno Park, which is what Gaboko has based her appearance off here. Yes, including the dog. After introductions, the dog continues to walk away, and Natsupoi and Saori Ano are tasked with watching the dog, an assignment at which they struggle mightily. Gaboko and Shigawa go for a test of strength, but Shigawa does a mime in the box move. Shigawa then consults Tai Honma in the corner, who then hands her some beanbags. She then juggles the beanbags, but does so terribly, and drops them in the ring immediately. She picks them up, throws them at Gabako, but it just devolves into chaos with everyone in the ring, even the ref, throwing beanbags at each other. Shigawa now calls for something else, a board and a tube. She then tries to balance on the board, but that really just doesn't work either. She does end up hitting Gabako with the board and covers her, thinking it's going to be an easy win, but the ref refuses the count because absolutely nothing in this match could even be slightly considered illegal in a wrestling match. Gabako plays up the comedic heel role here and even uses her sword. Shigawa then dodges the sword, but each time she dodges the sword, she falls and damages herself. She eventually becomes disoriented, eventually dodging nothing and then fighting the toy dog, dropping elbows, executing a giant swing. Eventually the dog fights back and does a running bulldog off the top rope. Shigawa then hits a dropkick on the dog and a DDT while Gabako just wanders outside the ring. Eventually, the dog bites Shigawa in the neck, incapacitating her. Then, like we saw in the first two Actwres shows, Gabako changes the rules and a tarp is introduced into the match, but this time, instead of smashing eggs on their head or drinking seltzer, they eat crackers. Shigawa needs time to take a water break, and Gabako capitalizes with a kancho and a roll-up. Gabako then tries to cut a promo, but her mouth is full of crackers, and it just doesn't work. This is without a doubt one of the dumbest and funniest matches on these early shows. Both Shigawa and Gabako are very funny people, and they have both very different styles of comedy, but it works really, really well in this. The match ends with a almost serious promo. Heartfelt moment with Shigawa offering respect and even speaking of her admiration for Gabako. Overall, the match was silly, but it's actually kind of brilliant stuff, especially for a debuting comedic character to go up against someone like Gabako. Out next is now Kakuta, who has finally found her sweet spot with her entrance. She's teaming with Teruka Kagawa, the middle-aged star, originally a member of JD's Star. And of all the strange entrances of these shows, perhaps none is more strange than this one. Obviously, she's a comedic wrestler, and she's returning after 9 years away. That combo is up against the team of Amy Nishina, who debuts her recognizable entrance here, complete with the sword and the Rurouni Kenshin theme song. And Tai Honma, who sings herself to the ring to I Need a Euro. Kakuta and Kagawa are a fun team. They both amplify each other's personality, and especially with Kakuta, who is starting to really figure things out, it really helps her being with a veteran like Kagawa in the ring. And there's a great moment with Nishina just hammering away on Kagawa, and Kagawa seems to no-sell it for a couple of seconds and then just collapse. And this is a match where you really start seeing the star potential come out in Nishina. Kakuta ends up picking up the win with a roll-up on Tai, continuing and building upon their budding rivalry. Next, it's intermission, and they introduce the next round of trainees. This time, it's just 4, which actually includes the 2 who debuted earlier, Miyama and Shigawa, plus 2 new faces, Hiroe Matsuda, a member of Mizuro Kakume, and Asami Hisato, a model and actress. Matsuda would never actually debut for Actwres Girls, but would end up seconding for a few appearances and is still a member of Mizuru Kakume. For those who don't know, that is Maru's theater group. And after this, a small child gives Manase a gift, and now it's time for a massive singles match for this roster. Saori Ano and Yuki Harima. Harima drops her gun in the corner, but still gets it back in time to do her entrance. Ano comes out to Babymetal. And it's almost the Ano we all know and love. But after the epic entrance with the fan and the poses, she just dances awkwardly to the ring. She'll get there. Once she's in the ring, though, her presence is undeniable. And the match starts out hot and just doesn't let up. It's truly gone Saori Ano mode. Harima fights back. It's just a great exchange between these two very, very important pillars of the early Actwres Girls show. And two pillars that Actwres was going to be built on at this point. Ano ends up picking up the win, but Harima is 100% on her level at this point. Next is the main event, and it is a disaster from the start. Maika Ozaki's entrance music hits with the previous match graphic up. Then Natsumi Maki's entrance video plays. Sakano introduces Poi. Then the music finally shifts over. Out comes Poi, and she has the same basket as before, but the music stops and Poi reacts just wonderfully. The music starts again, stops again. Poi is big mad, but it's really fun, and Poi gets to show off a lot of her personality in these silly little miscues. Her opponent is Maika Ozaki, who comes out to her music, but Ano's entrance video. These are all just early show problems. But all that aside, this match rules. They play off each other so well and are probably the two best in-ring performers who debuted in the company at this point. Poi goes a bit crazy in this one. She even does a Yuji Nagata-inspired Shirome Armbar. Ozaki uses her power to dominate Poi. Poi keeps fighting back, and her speed's an asset here. She does things like crossbodies, misdirections, cartwheels. She even goes toe-to-toe with Ozaki on a forearm battle, and she refuses to back down. She even throws in a tiger feint kick, some neat neck breakers, and she's got some really cool bridging offense here. Eventually, Maika and her strength aren't able to be overcome, and Poi taps out to the Argentine backbreaker. After the match, Poi throws a tantrum, but she eventually shakes Ozaki's hand. And again, we close with the ring announcers dancing and a curtain call for everyone. After Act 2, Ano participates in the Rookie of Stardom tournament and loses to Hiromi Mimura. And now on to Act 3. And again, follows the same format, but the pre-show is notable because it is the first time a stuffed bear enters the Actwres universe, a development from which it will never recover.
Sorrow found me when I was young. Sorrow waited, sorrow won. Sorrow, they put me on the pill. It's in my honey, it's in my milk.
It is also the first time we get a Christmas dance, Still to work, bitch. Again, we see the roster introduced, this time with the addition of Asami Hisato. The first match is a three-way between Fumi Shigawa, Rika Miyama, and Amy Nishina. Or, is it? Black Shine arrive and insert themselves into the match, and this becomes a battle royale of sorts. They all go for a test of strength, but again Shigawa pulls something out of her bag of tricks. This time, something actually works. Somehow she freezes time and DDTs everyone. But then she immediately gets beaten down by everyone else. Miyama has a great exchange with Nashan. Miyama's really impressive and super solid, following up her equally impressive debut. Obviously, she had lots of potential as a submission striker in these early days. Shigawa tries to forge an alliance between Nishina and Miyama, turns into a dance. Somehow, rock, paper, scissors converts Rishan over to the face team. They celebrate together, while Nashan gets angry and chops everyone, but Rishan eliminates her over the top. Then Rishan gets dumped out of the ring by Amy, Shigawa, and Miyama, and now it's down to the original three. Shigawa and Nishina team up, and they both kick Miyama. Once again, Shigawa pulls out beanbags from her gear and tries juggling, and again she immediately fails. She's then double teamed by Miyama and Nishina before breaking down crying in the middle of the ring. Tommy, the ref, feels like she's seen this before, and Shigawa punches both Miyama and Nishina. She then tries to run away from them, but then she gets tripped up. Miyama goes for a submission, but Nishina hits her with the Somato and scores the pin in a really cool moment. Shigawa then takes control, does her rolling pin, but then this dizzies her, and she mistakes Black Shine's bear for Amy Nishina after Nishina infused her. Then she fights the bear to the horrified screams of Black Shine outside the ring. The bear then even hits Shigawa with Nishina's Somato. Eventually, Shigawa realized the bear isn't actually Amy, but Amy thinks she's got the advantage. But Shigawa pulls Nishina's leg out from under her. And here it is, the first instance of teddy bear violence in Actwres Girls. Eventually, Nishina is able to pick up the win. Next, we see the team of Natsupoi and Nao Kakura, who come out and do a routine from High School Musical. And then it's the debut of Asami Hisato, who is teaming with fellow baseball enthusiast Tai Honma. Honma comes out singing Cupid of Romance. The crowd still doesn't quite get Natsumi's chant, but Natsumi doesn't care. Crowd's fired up, and she's fired up. This is Poi's funniest performance yet. The way she plays up everyone, her opponents, her teammate, Tommy, the crowd, it's all so enjoyable. Like the moment where Poi and Kakuta bite Tai, or Poi getting Tai in the corner, or Tai being silly with Poi. And Asami coming in to put an end to it. It's really fun stuff all around. Hisato also had a great performance, super solid for someone just debuting. She really knew what she was aiming for as a wrestler. She does some neat power stuff, including a lifting choke to pick up the win. Hisato pinned Kakuta, which really showed that they saw a lot in Hisato early on. Poi, you, okay. Then, there's a video package of Mars and Turtles.
No.
Turtles! Mars!
A rematch of these four very important pillars of early Actwres. However, Harima has announced that she is leaving the promotion. The core that Actwres has been built on will miss a huge part from here on out. And the match has the emotion of a final match, and it's a fantastic one to boot. We see a lot of cool things, Anole diving off the apron and Harima following. Manase picks up the win, while Harima and Anole fight on the outside. While it was announced that Harima was leaving the promotion, this would not be the last we would see of her. And now is the Gabuko Gauntlet. This is one of the strangest, yet most entertaining things on any one of these shows. And Gabuko, once again, comes out with a Nerf ball gun. And the gauntlet starts with Amy Nishina challenging Gabuko to a sword fight. Nishina hits Gabuko with her sword, but then Gabuko just grabs Nishina's sword and starts wailing. And that's the end of Nishina's attempt. Up next is Rika Miyama, who challenges her to Janken, where if you win, you have to hit your opponent with the squeaky mallet before they cover their head with the bucket. If you've seen the 5-star Miyuki Takase versus Ami Sore match from the last Actwres Girls show before the reboot, then you know what's up. This also devolved into Gabuko hitting her opponent violently with some sort of silly toy. Bumi Shigawa then comes out with hula hoops, and hopefully her hooping skills are better than her juggling skills. And surprisingly, they are. And Gabuko is unable to hoop for more than a second, but she still rolls up Shigawa for a pin. Next, we see Natsumi Maki in sunglasses. Somehow, Poi ended up in a high-speed match against an invisible wrestler, or maybe Gabuko's mind? Poi made this really funny, tiring herself out so Gabuko could then pin her. Then out came Kakura with a plate of cream puffs. She put a kawaii headband on Gabuko and then challenged her to an eating contest. Kakura struggled because she was actually laughing, and Gabuko took advantage, smashing hers into her face and picking up the win while Kakura cry-laughed. Then, it was Asami Hisato who was using Nishina's swords to challenge her to a dizzy bat contest. Both struggled, but Gabuko eventually made it to her feet. Next is Tai Honma's turn, enlisting the help of Rika Miyama and Natsupoi for a hair braiding contest. Poi seems totally into it first, but slowly grows concerned. Gabuko covers Miyama's face with her hair and then completes Honma's braids on Poi. Yuki Harima then challenges Gabuko to a call and response challenge. Gabuko struggles and then resorts to cheap shots to win.
Hello, happy world. Say, hello, happy world.
Maiko Ozaki comes to the ring holding her head and just seems like she's done watching this. She hits Gabuko with the forearm, Gabuko repays in kind, but after the second one from Maika, she gets taken down and eventually Gabuko tickles Ozaki to pick up the win. Up next is Ano, who comes to the ring with the Nerf gun. I guess this was supposed to be a fairly straightforward match, with Gabuko just chaotically beating Ano. And Manase's attempt includes a kick pad, with each taking turns blocking kicks until Manase just kicks Gabuko in the head. The entire roster comes in and tries to pin her, but she kicks out. And then she starts singing Amazing Grace and puts on angel wings and a halo. The crowd sings along. Gabuko ascends, the roster kneels, and Gabuko pins Manase to win the gauntlet. Yeah. Okay, so this match was obviously not meant to be taken seriously, but it was a really fun ride and a farewell for Gabuko, who would also only have one more match with the promotion. And the show ended with some Christmas flair. The curtain call was fun, everyone with Santa hats. Manase rode out on Ano, who was wearing reindeer antlers. Gabuko came out with a bag of gifts, the roster threw into the crowd, and then it was pinkies up for Act 3. After the show, the roster said goodbye to Yuki Harima. She'd participate in Act 4, but this was a true goodbye. And it was so heartfelt. So Ano presenting her with a folder of photos, notes from the roster, and it was just a really, really nice send-off. The next show, Act 4, was officially called Detour. So we're actually going to take a brief detour ourselves before we get to it. Our first stop is Reina on December 26, 2015. To kick off the event, there are a pair of rookies in a pre-debut match, Yuina and Mari Sakamoto. This is technically Mari's third match, as she also had a pre-debut match in Brooklyn, New York, of all places, at Gleason's gym, and also a matchup against Shuri. Eventually she would debut as the recognizable ninja and compete for Reina and then Actwres Girls years later. Later on in the show, we have an Actwres Girls offer match, which features Natsumi Maki and Tai Honma, and they come to the ring accompanied by Gabako, Hiroe Matsuda, and Fumi Shagawa, and they face the team of Mars, which is Manase and Ano, who are accompanied by Turtles, Yuki Harima, and Maika Ozaki, their fierce rivals. This is technically the earliest Actwres footage that is easily available on YouTube, and it's a fun one. It's always very silly. We see even more of Ano going Ano mode. Tai's starting to really figure things out and find out where her strengths are in the ring. It's a neat match, and especially with Mari seconding, it adds even more to how noteworthy this entire show is in Actwres Girls history. Ano then made an appearance at Stardom's 5th anniversary show, teaming with Hiromi Momura to face JK Green, which is the team of Jungle Kiona and Momo Watanabe. And that's it for Actwres Legacy Episode 2. Thanks for coming along on this ride, and in the next episode, we'll take a look at the most unique show of the first season of Actwres Girls, as well as gear up for the finale.
So の日が来るまで楽しみにしてて。ありがとう。じゃあ See you again. Bye bye. またあるのかな。
何だったんですかね。